So with my nursing home that we work at, our house, we have run into a lot of issues with transportation because they have to be there like 4:30 in the morning, but like to get in the chair on time.
Or you'll die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seriously.
That's probably,
So, like,
okay.
It's a lot of it's transportation organization.
Really?
A lot of it make sure their insurance is covered, and then the other part of it is like
Kidneys. It's all kidneys,
and
right?
then making sure that they get there as many times as they need to that week because it's like 3 times.
Their Medicaid must be paying some cash for that services. Okay.
And then it's like a lot of it's VA.
Okay.
So,
Okay. What is your syllabus? I'll put it up into D2L, but does everybody here know each other? My name is John Trouth. I did social work at University of Kentucky, my doctorate in counseling at University of Cincinnati. I've taught here since 2019. I've been a full-time teacher since like 2016, a part-time teacher since 2009, and a social worker for like 22 years. And I worked at Claremont Recovery Center, Ohio at Lighthouse Youth Services, and I'm right now at hospice. That's where I heard of dialysis. Because hospice pays a lot, like $70,000 a year, $68,000, and somebody left.
You know what's crazy is though hospice, they went through a time though where hospice stopped paying for it because it's supposed to be in the life care or discomfort.
Really?
Yeah, so for like a little bit, hospice stopped paying for it.
Okay.
Because it's like what's it called? Basically, like it's like to help you live. It's hospice is supposed to be comfort care.
Right. I think that's
like,
palliative care.
Yeah. They tried to put a stop to it, but for some reason they said that they could still do it.
Okay.
So there was like a whole hospital like a year that hospice would pay for it.
Interesting. Okay. Are you all juniors or seniors? Any seniors? Okay, cool. And you already know about our advanced standing in social work? Have you heard about that? Could you describe it to anybody again? If you finish here, we're accredited program. You qualify for advanced standing social work program, and you get to skip your whole first year of graduate school. And instead of I took 65 hours to get a master of social work because I was psychology, dumb move on my part. If you get a BSW, it's 34 hours to get your master's in social work. And like Miami Middletown has a program. OSU? You want to go to OSU?
I really don't go to OSU or Cincinnati.
Because OSU's is 41 hours, Miami Middletown is 34 hours. That's horrible. And then Cincinnati might be close. You just look at all the different programs, like how long it takes. Where did you all want to do your internships if you're going to be an intern? Next year.
Doing my current job.
Okay. That's a good way to do it. And you could get that UPP grant with the class.
So
okay.
I would be Clark County.
Anyone else? Where are you doing internships? Where do you want to do it?
DC area.
Where?
I really want to be in DC.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Like policy. Being an advocate.
Kind of.
Okay.
But like, then I still want to experience the medical route. So. We'll see. I just
Okay.
know I don't want to be in Ohio.
Right. Are you from Ohio?
No.
Where are you from?
Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. I've had a lot of class.
Because I lived in St. Paul for 6 months. Are you anywhere near St. Paul?
Okay. I'm in like Maple Grove.
The country?
You know, like the suburb area. Like the city.
Okay. So, and then you guys know Nikita's in charge of our internships and whatnot. Okay. Well, this class, as I've mentioned, you learn groups. And so with groups, here too. First class. What's that? You're here too. And then there's 2 Britneys. So groups always was, has any of you ever been in a group before? for, like for anything, like even summer camp or like they lead? Yeah. What was yours? Are you describe how your group was or talk about?
I mean, I've worked at my summer camp for 4 years. So
Okay.
I have my own class and we do constructive work with the day and events throughout the whole summer.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I work with the 12-year-olds.
And then, do they have you lesson plan?
Not a lesson plan because I'm not going in for teaching. So
Okay.
it's a summer camp where we kind of have free will to get what we think goes in, but it's played out through the whole summer. So
You lead it how you want,
Yeah, for sure.
but you still need a plan. You ever see how bad it goes when you don't have a plan?
Oh, yeah.
It sucks.
You gotta make sure they're entertained.
When I started working at Camp Stepping Stones in Cincinnati. And you're right, teachers mostly did the lesson plans, but they kind of put it on to us just so we would have something. And when we didn't have it, like the kids were so mad because they could tell. You're like, you don't have a plan. You know what I mean? Like, what are we going to do? Or what? When we did have a plan, it could be structured, they could stay not bored or organized or whatever. It's gotten harder with like cell phones and digital media. Like, do kids even have cell phones now? Like when you're so then do they mess?
I take their phones. When it's time to,
That's pretty
time
funny.
To get to it, like,
Do they freak out like, no, I need my phone, man? Like my mom.
I've been there, so they
Okay.
know what to expect of me. So
Mhm.
you get your phone after we finish what we gotta do.
Okay. So syllabus should outline everything. Try to guess what your 3 major assignments are.
Papers.
It's always a paper.
Believe it or not,
One of our actually
believe it or not, that is true. And so in HBSE and then intro.
So those are the papers?
So you observe a group, you perform a group, like we're all going to lead a group with everybody in here. And I have a format for you. So I have your lesson plans. If you want to cheat and pull it out of girls circle, I will send you the girls circle. You can make it for guys too. But that was the one we had from Lighthouse. I got the lesson plans and I had week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And the final paper is creation of a group. That's the big paper. So that one you could do all semester just because it's the longest paper in the social work
How
curriculum.
long is it? 10?
I'm gonna look again.
It's gotta be 10. I know it's 10.
I think you can get away with 8.
That's not that bad.
I know, but it says 8 to 15.
8 to 15.
That's not that bad, but like,
So 10 to 15.
yeah, I'm about to say, like, if I did the minimum 8, that's gonna be like a C.
Nah, I don't roll like that. By graduate school, they will roll like that.
Yeah.
But I do want to get you all.
I'm gonna do 10 papers.
That's
Yeah, I'm on 10 minimum.
Courier New font. You ever use the Courier New font?
Yeah, for you.
I know. Nobody else lets you use it. Just because I'm dyslexic and I can't read. So here's assignment 1. A lot of people observe a group. If you know a mental health place, like if your mom works somewhere, and then you're going to fill this out. So it's kind of like a paper, but literally some people just fill this out. When you observe the group, and it's like seeing what you observe that's from the text that's in it. Some people do an AA meeting. Some people do a mental health group that if your mom worked in social work. Does anybody else have a connection to like a mental health place? It sounds like you might be able to.
Can I do an art? We got mental people in there.
Do they have groups?
Yeah, but it's in therapy.
Right. What do their groups entail? Like it could, I mean, in a sense, it's keeping them happy, right? Like,
Is there a way
We
we
got
can do it?
activities too.
right. It could.
It's kind of.
You had a question.
Is there a way we can do a group out here somewhere?
Sure. Yeah. If you have like access to a mental health agency, and that might be asking Nikita, who would let you come and observe.
That's
You might,
fine. That's fine.
you might need to sign a confidentiality notice, but that would be premieres and you learn.
Yeah.
You can, yeah. That's the idea. Like that was the traditional, and then during the pandemic, everything had to go online. So people observe an online AA meeting.
Okay.
That's great, but
But
it's not a billable mental health group. Like AA, you put $1 in the basket. If you're billing Medicare and Medicaid, It's usually $30 an hour per person in the group. So if you've got 1,000 people in the group, like a DUI group at the Cat House or Talbert House, guess how much money that group makes? $30 an hour, 1,000 people. $30 a person and 1,000 people.
What?
That's what I'm saying. That's why they love groups. That's exactly why they love groups.
So it's $30 a person.
It's $30 a person. There would be 1,000, and that would be $30,000 to lead that group. So that's why agencies love groups. Big agencies love groups, like an addictions group or a DUI group or a trauma group or trauma therapy. Now, if you do one-on-one therapy, it's usually 80 per billable hour for case management and 90 per billable hour for therapy. That's kind of standard across the board. You can't do that more than that unless if you have a group. So if you have a group of even just 10 people, that's $300 an hour for the agency. They might only pay you the standard social worker rate. But agencies love groups, and that's why they always put interns in groups and want you to learn how to run groups. Because yes, it's a moneymaker, but more often it's a way to disseminate information or like life skills, not one-on-one, but like 100 people at once. Yeah. So that's why they love the groups. They were always intimidating to me though, I guess. Like it's almost like learning how to teach a class too. I'm like, there's no way I'm ever going to teach a class. I'm going to be a one-on-one social worker the rest of my life. And then things change. You know, you feel more confident in what you do. You're like, I can do this. I could pull it off. But you got to get comfortable first. And that's partly why we have you guys lead it in here. So on an interview, they'll be like, have you ever led a group before? And you'll be like, oh yeah, I led a group. It was in groups class. Like, okay. Well, you're going to lead the trauma group on Thursdays at 10 a.m. every week of this internship or your first year of work. Any questions so far? Yes.
So what happens if you don't have access to like a mental health group?
That's when folks often go to aa.org and find an online meeting and observe the AA meeting. So you can do that. I feel like you will be more enriched by observing a mental health group, but it is hard to get into them. What's that?
I would say I would be in person.
Right. And if you could go in person, that's even stronger.
And then, like, for example, with the assignment, like, how long do you want it to be? Questions.
Yeah,
This first one you're saying?
Like, even with the questions that you write down, like, how long do you want the responses to be?
The name of the group literally might just be like, let's say you did the trauma therapy group at Lighthouse Youth Services. That might be one line. Online AA meeting at 10 a.m. Thursdays in Germany. You know, like when you go to aa.org, you can watch an AA meeting all across the world. Like Australia, they'll have accents and crap, but you can log in and watch it. Purpose of the group, maybe what they say it is, like to heal from trauma, to rediscover, and Girls Circle. It's just whatever you fill in the blanks with.
So we're not turning this into paper form, just like.
People have done both. Like they prefer paragraph form. Some like to just answer.
Yeah, what do you,
I'm kind of flexible.
yeah,
Maybe that's a bad thing, but I'm kind of flexible.
So what do you think would be the best thing for it? What would you advise us to do?
The paper form is fine, and then you can see that you've answered every single question, even if it is like NA, but there is most an answer to every, like where it was, or credentials, the person who led it, maybe they're an independent social worker. Do you believe it helped, like, or took away? If it's Zoom, I think Zoom sucks because we're so distracted nowadays. So being in person does help, but what if it was a situation where you can't get a group out unless if there is a Zoom, like during the pandemic especially, or people that are like homebound, so they have to watch from their television screen or whatever it is. And then, yeah, it goes through all the stuff in chapters 1 and 2, and then the stuff that you observed, and then evaluate how well you believe the group. That's where you can like go all out and put some paragraphs in if you wanted. Accomplishes its primary purpose. And then this one has, it jumps to the final paper. So there's only 3 major assignments. It's really scary. Like it doesn't feel like it's enough. Because most other classes, like you said, even my intro and HBSC, I think intro has like 5, HBSC has like 3 or 4, and this one literally only has 3 assignments. Huh?
One person.
I try to give you a few weeks to do them. So maybe even sometime in September. But I do like you jumping on starting to lead groups by because if we had everybody in here lead on a day, it might be October and November, and then the final paper is December. So it sounds easy, but it's empowering you all. You're juniors now. You take control of your life. You learn to be good social workers. We go through some of the what groups look like as taught by the book, and we'll go through the same way I learned it in grad school, forming, performing. It always rhymes. Forming, storming, performing, norming, and we'll get into those later. But it always rhymes. Forming the group is when everybody tests each other out. It's like the first day of class when you're what's going on here? Storming is maybe there's a debate about how something should be. I think we should do all online groups. No, I think we should do all in-person groups, or maybe we come somewhere in the middle. Performing is then when you learn how to become a group, cohesive. There's a good one on the movie called Remember the Titans. Have you guys ever seen Remember the Titans? It's an old movie, right? From the 90s?
It's 90s, early 90s.
Okay. And they always use that as the group example of forming, norming, storming, performing, adjourning. And they show the team fighting at first and not liking each other, not liking the coach, coming together, working cohesively, and then I think they win the division or something. And somebody even dies in the process or watches it from the hotel room. And that's also brings them together in the funeral at the end. So it's just kind of an example of what groups look like. I use that and show it a lot, but then it kicks me off YouTube for a copyright infringement claim. They're you can't show Remember the Titans on your YouTube. So I can't show it as much as I want if we have YouTubers. We'll blame you, Brittany. Sorry if we still got. Not you, Brittany. You, Brittany. No, it's fine. I've been okay with it because online is the role of the future. If you all do an MSW, will you do it in person or online? Really? I would fail miserably. Yeah. I feel like it's so much more work. You think you'll do better? So everybody's different, and that's fine. I know myself. I had one online class, and it was my only bad grade in graduate school. It sucked. I don't know why. Yeah. Maybe because it was new. It was in 2001, and imagine what online looked like in 2001. That might have been the year some of you were born. Anybody born in 2001?
I had online class now.
I got an online class.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody's different. I would be all in person all the time.
I tried, but some of them they don't offer in
I
person.
know.
I'd rather have all mine in person.
I said it just depends on the class.
It does.
Yes, I would have to take this.
Because some of the
Yeah.
professors,
Right.
the professors' communication is terrible.
Yes. Right.
It's really bad.
And I would probably be as bad of a student as I would be. I feel like online I'm the same way too. It's you do have to articulate yourself well, typing and writing, and I can do it. I've done it, but I do have dyslexia and all that fun stuff that goes with writing. So I kind of, So observing a group. That's any other questions about big assignment number 2, and then observing it. Oh, leading it. So observing is first, leading it is second. Let me see if I can find you on my example. And you can take any template you want, but girls circle is what I use, and that's why is it so small? Is there any way to make the view bigger? That might even be some of it. Girl circle, there it is. So when you lead a group, this is how we advertise Girl Circle at Lighthouse Youth Services. And they had to pay $10,000 for this manual. That's why it's hard to find. If you create good groups and write up 10 weeks of a group and sell the book, you can make some money. If you're really good, any good writers in here? Anybody want to think about writing? I'm not. So this is Girl Circle. At Lighthouse, as you saw, we kind of advertised it because it is, it's a moneymaker, but again, it's a way to reach several people at once at the same time. Instead of just doing one-on-one therapy and counseling. And it's evidence-based, if you've ever heard of that in social work, where like they did research on it and they're like, we found the results of women coming out of this group were 4 times more likely to succeed in high school and college and go on and get a master's degree, something like that. And then we get referrals. When you advertise, this would be part of your final paper, like you show how you're going to advertise the group. This is one way that you advertise the group. You say, what's going on? I didn't know there was a Real Dad's conference room. Interesting. And then, yeah, we were in inner city Cincinnati, 401 McMillan on the 2nd floor. Snacks were key. That was another part of the planning. And you had to set the snack at the right time because, like, if they were bad, they could lose the snack. But then if they're good, they get the snack. Does that make any sense? Because they could have off days, like. And there it is. There's how they found evidence-based. They showed decrease in alcohol use, decrease in self-harming behavior, and then increase in attachment to school, and increase in self-efficacy. Oh, I didn't know they had where we could find the report. Hey, now I feel excited. I've never seen this flyer. I save all these archives from where I used to work at Lighthouse, and I forget I have some of these archives. And it's missing. Figure that. But so often you needed a referral. We also led a trauma group at Lighthouse. So there was Girls Circle and there was the trauma group. But here's kind of what it looked like. This had all of the stuff you would need and like the philosophy behind it, female brain, resiliency factors, boys' identities, education, sex abuse, depression, violence, bullying, and cyberbullying. I forget there's cyberbullying now, which is different. Some stuff on economics. Like at 18, you want most folks to try to become self-supporting or like get paid in to go into school or funding to go to school, like for housing. Then the model. So this is, gosh, how many pages? This one's 222. That just tells you about Girls Circle. Now there's one last model that I will also put up for you, and it's called the Manual of How to Lead Girls Circle. It was called the Relationships Curriculum. Don't let me forget to share this on D2L with you guys. This gives you everything, how to lead a group start to finish, and you can like make it how you want it. And that's too small. I'm gonna go back to that. So girls 13 to 18. At Lighthouse, we had a homeless shelter for 13 to 18-year-olds and also 18 to 24-year-olds. And sometimes it was like if there was challenges in the home, people becoming independent. Has anyone up here ever heard of Lighthouse? Any of you guys? It's big in Cincinnati. It did stretch out to Dayton, but I don't think it goes past there. So most groups are 10 to 12 weeks long. Like if you remember, just like summer too. So your summer is probably 10, 11, or 12 weeks, right? So same deal. The cool part is this shows you all the things they cover. So it goes from like body image to my family, body, mind, and spirit, who I am, relationships with peers, expressing my individuality, being a girl, past to the future, friendship, and then honoring our diversity. Actually, those might all be the different weeks also. So here is, there's all the weeks right here. So you can pick, if you guys want a model to learn how to run your group, you pick any one of these weeks here. Like I'll put up a space where it says you want to lead week 1. You don't have to do them in any particular order. If you pick week 9, that's fine. A lot of people like to pick week 9 for some reason. So week 1 is connecting with each other. Week 2 is labels, exploring new perspective. Week 3 is expressing myself. Week 4 is accepting all different parts of myself. Week 5 is cultivating respect. So a lot of these go for boys circle too. I think it's called Boys Council, but I never could hawk the $10,000 manual from Boys Council off the internet. Somehow I found this one. They must have left it unlocked. Week 6 is giving voice to feelings. Week 7 is giving voice to feelings part 2. That's a big part of just relationships. So communication, just learning how to communicate. So that's kind of also what these groups are teaching us to do. Week 8 is also popular, romantic relationships. What is it worth to you? Week 9 is girl fights or girlfriends. And then 10 is wholeness and completion. And so what's cool about this is watch how you scroll down. It will literally tell you, so like every 6 pages is a whole week of girl circle. Well, that one's 10 and this one's 4, but most of them are like 5 to 10 pages of how to run the group. And so when you get in, here's the format. And there's a few good videos of the One Circle Foundation formats, and that's who founded Girl Circle. It's basically a theme and activity guide meant to serve and stand alone for facilitators having recently completed Girl Circle facilitators training, for facilitators, counselors, educators, or social workers, and that's you guys, who have experience or training in leading gender-specific program for girls. I might still have my trauma group curriculum, and I'll share that with you guys. So just learning how to then use the guide, and this is where it's almost mindless. It shows you, you'll always have an opening ritual. So it says like, begin the circle with an opening ritual, and this is your second major assignment. And you all will come up here and be in charge. You're going to run your group. You're going to lead us. So commencement of the circle fosters a special tone, invites participants into the unique space of the circle. Examples could be lighting a candle, ringing a bell, having each participant say one word about how they're feeling, silence, music, sharing, or a special reading. I want to find you the mindfulness. Oh yeah. There's somebody who took it incomplete last semester and would like to lead a group for you guys in here. Would you be open to that? To them leading their group? Okay. So they get to be the trial run. Yeah. In fact, I should send that right now. You might already know who it is. Does everybody know everybody, or not everybody knows everybody? Okay. All right. Let's see if it goes through. What's that? Yeah, you know Samaje. He's in your one. Oh, senior year. I became a super senior by accident. Because I added the theology major my senior year.
Oh my God.
So I got 2 majors in 4.5 years, which you can do in 4, but I was not very organized as a student. Like I didn't have a good college preparatory school. Have you ever heard of those before? I feel like you got to pay big money to get into those. And I wasn't in one of those. Anybody here from Cincinnati? Nobody is. Okay. I went to Purcell Marion High School. So there is your opening ritual. Then you do a theme introduction. Then you'll do a check-in. So theme introduction is like the facilitator usually tells you what they have planned for the meeting. Chosen theme will be tied to the activity. Check-in is at a time for girls to check in with the group and express whatever they wish, perhaps to say something about the theme. A talking stick can be used, and that's so you get like people that won't both talk at the same time, so you might pass around a talking stick. Examples, feelings like high of the week, low of the week, what happened at school day, what are they presently feeling, a pressing family issue or problem, concern about a relationship, a success or a disappointment, a fight with a friend, or the feelings of insecurity. Then you do the activity. So this is how you cover the billable time. So does anybody know anything about billable times when you work at an agency? If you like work somewhere, you write up a note and then Medicare pays you. Usually they do 15-minute increments. So the minimum you can do is like 15 minutes. That's why I say make the group 15 minutes so it would be billable. Usually they'd want to see a 45-minute group. Actually, if you got it to 53 minutes, they would let you bill for an hour. If you get to 38 minutes, they let you bill for 45. If you get to 23 minutes, they let you bill for 30. And that's how Medicare or Medicaid works. It's all printed money, which is creepy to me. Like the government just like prints it like inflation. You ever heard of that before? Like that's why during the pandemic, we all got stimmy checks. Anybody get a stimmy check? And it was fun that first year. And then the next year, all the prices doubled on food, milk, water, gas, clothes.
Eggs.
Eggs were the
They were like
worst.
$6. I was mad.
Oh, I stocked up on them on Amazon. And they would deliver them. And if one cracked, they would refund your whole.
I've been praying over cracks.
So I would, and I didn't want to lie about it. So
Right.
like I'd order a
Crack is
bunch,
nice.
and if there was one crack, I'd be like, "Sorry, dude, one of them eggs." Says, how do you deliver eggs in a delivery service? It was
Right.
Amazon Flex. Like I used to deliver for them too, and like you set them bags down like crack. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah.
So usually the eggs still were double price, but I'd get one of them usually for free as well. It'd be cracked. I still find a way to use the cracked one somehow.
Yeah. All you gotta do is pour it.
I know.
You gotta leave it in the little curtain, take the top off, and pour it on.
So anyway, where was I going with that? Medicare and Medicaid that pay for it, or insurance. So on this day, I still work at hospice, and I supervise on Fridays from 9:30 to 11:30, and then I rush up here for the 1 o'clock class, and I work for a private practice. Wednesdays, I see clients at 9, 10, 11, and sometimes 12. But I have this class at 1, so I'm going to do 9, 10, 11, and rush up here and teach the class. Today, I have clients at 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I have to rush out. That's the opposite of Friday and Wednesday. Same deal there. Medicare, Medicaid, they print some money. Does that sound weird that they print money?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's for real. Like that's what happens. Like the government prints money, right? And that's why you're supposed to like invest in like hard assets or something. Like a car. How many of you trying to buy a car right now and it sucks? How expensive? They're coming down,
But
right?
it's still outrageous.
It was
Like used cars are terrible.
3 years ago.
Somebody spots for used cars.
3 years ago, we had one baby, and I bought a RAV4. Have you ever heard of those? It was $25,000. 10 months later, we had 2 babies, so I had to get a minivan. I got 3 in 2.5 years. She probably wants another one. I'm only 45. My grandparents had kids till they
Wait a
were
minute, y'all want another one?
48 and 49. She wants lots. So she's only
I mean,
37.
But lots are nice.
You know what?
But I don't know if I can
Oh,
do
yeah.
it.
I don't know if I can do it again.
It is so hard.
I think I want to travel.
So we had to buy a
A
minivan.
lot.
And the RAV4 that I bought for $25,000, guess how much it sold for 10 months later? It's like $32,000. We made $8,000. I think $33,000. We made $8,000, and it was used. So I bought it new, 25. We only put like 10,000 miles on it. Sold it for $8,000 more than we bought it for. Minivan was like
That's
33.
crazy.
It was.
I mean, it worked for you.
It did work because I was upside down on 3 cars before that, like a Prius, another. Social workers always drive Priuses too, by the way. You know that? Because you get good gas mileage. So that's the print money situation. Oh, did this die already? No. Okay. Class would have been over if it died. It's already past this class goes.
No, for real.
Because I got so much more stuff to teach you. So do an activity, you share, ritual. That's how it goes. Now look how cool this is. If you want me to email it to you. Here's the 10 weeks. So you guys can pick any week. Just tell me which week you want to lead. Or you can find your own stuff on the internet. If you find a good group on the internet, fine. This is it was special about it. It's like peer reviewed, or it's like they've done research on it, and it's shown that like girls who go through this end with wholeness and completion. They're good. Then now they show you what you'll do for here's week 1. And if you led week 1, you just got to memorize this. Maybe you put it on a PowerPoint so you can like follow it as you're teaching it to us. And it's like activity, creating the group guidelines, Then you do a commonalities bead games. Here's the materials you might want. If you need help getting some of these, I can try. You might all have a journal, plastic bag for beads. The purpose is to help them become more aware of relationships and themselves. I have girls express themselves with each other to facilitate the experience of empathy and commonalities with each other. Here's how you prepare. Facilitator is you guys, so you're going to be the facilitators. And then, this is why it's so cool. It tells you every single thing you need to do with a group. So it's almost brainless, like we're handing it to you. Here's you leading the group. And this is why it's worth $10,000. Because like some agencies, I bought one. I didn't buy one. I looked for one my agency bought called Recovery Dynamics. I led as my internship in 2001. And I one time found it on the library, but it was in Tennessee. So I was trying to like hawk pictures of it off the internet. So it was a really well-made recovery workbook. So there's lots of group workbooks. And then that's what you're doing for your final paper. You're creating a group. And that's the stuff I'll talk more about probably, since we have 6 minutes, Wednesday. But like you may go to grants.gov and find a $100,000 grant. Printed money again, but it's a grant that will help you run Girl Circle in a populous area like Dayton or like at your internship. And you're going to write up how you'll use that grant. Maybe it will fund your salary at your internship. Like I need $35,000 or $45,000 a year or $55,000 with inflation now to run a group and like lead an agency to run a group. And like it becomes real stuff. What you'll do for your job as a social worker. Like the idea is to train you all to become social workers. You might write up this grant and then you can use it at your internship. Like, hey, I wrote this grant. I want to do Girl Circle at this Dayton agency or Xenia agency or Wilberforce. Maybe Dr. Hunt will have you do it at the counseling center. How many of y'all know Dr. Hunt? Okay, maybe she'll use something. I know she's doing some horticulture therapy stuff too. Have you seen some of that? We're doing a grant with her right now that's $300,000 to do horticulture therapy in her counseling space. Is it that way?
Yeah, it's like,
Where are we?
I always
Yeah,
get
it's
lost.
right here.
I always get lost in here. So yeah, this tells you all that you have to do. There's week 1. It's like 2 or 3 pages. And it shows like there's your icebreaker. You might ask like, how do we want to treat each other in this group? How do we not want to treat each other? And just going through like the rules and regulations, then you do the check-in. One thing you hope to get out of the group, one thing you think about relationships topic, commonalities. Because usually when we first meet people, we try to look at our differences too. Like, how am I different from them? So the commonalities bead game is important to like see how we're all human too. Like it humanizes everything. Then you share, then you have a closing ritual. So 45 to 53 minutes every week. We had to lead this group. I did it with the trauma group. I think Girl Circle, you did have to be female to lead it. It might be different in 2023. I don't know. That was like 2015. So times have changed even in 8 years. Week 2, any week you guys pick. If you want to use this, of course you don't have to, but most people find it helpful and ask for me to send it out to you over D2L. Yeah, I'll send it. A little $10,000 manual.
yeah, please. I'll take it.
I know, right? Any questions? The final paper, obviously. Oh yeah, so look at this though. There's a full-on outline of your final paper. Have you ever gotten this before?
No.
This is the outline. Look at this.
What's the outline?
Oh,
Yup. And it even tells you how many paragraphs. It
You can't even
says,
mess that up.
huh?
You can't mess that up.
What is that? You mean because it has the outline?
Yeah.
It is
you
a
probably-
lot.
You probably mess up like details. but
Right.
You can't mess up the outline.
But it is a lot of work. That's why I say work on it. And the group you lead, make it the group you create too. So you're like working on the same assignment all semester. You know what I mean? I'm okay with it. Other people will be like, no, that's plagiarizing yourself. No, I want you to work. And in grad school, do the same thing. The stuff you're going to write your master's thesis on, make it like your specialty area. Like I want to specialize in addiction. So I'm always going to write papers on addictions. And I'm going to know about addictions. And that's what I did. And that's my specialty area. And it helps you in the long run. But yeah, like abstract, 1 paragraph. Overall scope, 1 to 3 paragraphs. Psychosocial concerns or themes, 3 to 8 paragraphs. Significant. Really, if you just did a paragraph or 2 each week for 16 weeks, you're done by December.
That's nice.
So it is a long ass paper, but, and then has anybody ever seen grants.gov? I know we have a minute and a half, but that's where you get the money. Grants.gov. You can like search Girl Circle or like mental health group for women or whatever it is, maybe even horticulture therapy. I've never done that before. Now that we're writing a $300,000 grant, I better search it. Probably have to rewrite it next year. Oh, there's nothing. Oh, maybe there's something. They might not call it that, but like Heal Initiative, development of therapies and technologies directed at enhanced pain management. You could use hort therapy for that, but I'm looking for more like, say maybe you enter mental health and teens or something. And then just like the monies that are available for that. It's pilot study to test mental health, family module, promote early access, supporting mental health among professions in the workforce. That's like you guys, like your internship. And then it tells you what the money is, and you can cite this. It always gives like an award floor, an award ceiling. This one might have already been due, so it doesn't have it. But you can like search through the grants and see what money there is for mental health. Mental health research and dissertation grant. I should have gotten that for my dissertation. And then this is what's scary though, is they're like a shutdown in the government. Why are they not giving me the monies here? Usually it'll say like $250,000 to $1 million, award ceiling and award floor. But maybe we have a shutdown in the government. Why is there no money? They stopped printing money. The gig is up. Clinical mental illness. So yeah, and then like it'll show you how to apply and cite that in your paper. Any questions? Yeah. No.
I just have one for you as like an advisor.
Yeah, sure. That works. See, that's why I got 10 minutes till I have to leave after class. See you all Wednesday. All right.
Should I schedule the schedule or email you if I would like to add another 5 minutes on my schedule?
Are you able to sign into your phone right now?
Yeah.
Do you have your